and welcome to the Digital Leaders Public Sector AI Week 2026. This week is about moving from AI ambition to real-world impact, and about how digital data and AI can genuinely improve people's lives and public services. As chair of the Digital Leaders and also as founder of Informed Solutions, a mid-tier digital transformation and AI business headquartered in Greater Manchester for over 30 years, it's my absolute pleasure to interview the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham. Through my role with Digital Leaders, we see extraordinary innovation across the UK. But Greater Manchester stands out for its coherence and scale of both ambition and approach. As one of the country's most established evolved city regions, it has taken a distinctive approach to using digital data and AI, very intentionally as a tool to strengthen public services, build resilient communities, and support inclusive growth and economic development. That includes embedding digital inclusion within Manchester's Live Well reform agenda, investing in shared infrastructure, enabling joined-up data and public services, and accelerating the responsible adoption of AI across all 10 boroughs of Greater Manchester. I'm very keen to explore how the Mayor sees digital and AI, helping turn that vision into a reality. With that, I'd like to thank the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, for being willing to share his experiences and insights with us and the Digital Leaders Network of the UK. Mayor, a very, very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for agreeing to open the Digital Leaders AI in the Public Sector Week.
I'm honoured to do that. Thank you very much.
Greater Manchester is the most successful economy in the UK, the fastest growing, the most thriving, and also the fastest growing tech hub in Europe. A large part of that is down to purpose-led leadership and actually having a vision for what we want for our community and for public services. So I'd really like to get your insights on, in particular, if we can start with the Greater Manchester 2025 strategy. That'll cover the blueprint for the next decade. What role do you see digital and AI playing in the enablement and the realisation of that strategy and vision for Greater Manchester?
I see digital, tech, AI and all of its forms playing a foundational role in the ongoing success of Greater Manchester, underpinning everything. When I came in as Mayor in 2017, I set the ambition of making Greater Manchester the UK's leading digital city region. I believe we've there or thereabouts achieved that. It's partly about having a tech sector that is big by headcount and vibrant, and we've got that in the city centre. But I was always clear it was much more than that. And it's about all of our residents, all citizens online, everybody connected to the digital economy. And sometimes that second bit gets missed off in cities. Kind of risks of a new inequality opening up, which is those who can afford to be online and those who can't. I think we have to take digital exclusion really seriously, and we've put a lot of focus into that. Because if people are online these days, they're in the conversation, they can see the opportunity. They can be part of the growing digital economy. So we've had initiatives around digital inclusion. We've worked with Raspberry Pi Foundation to bring forward a new qualification that young people can take at school alongside their GCSEs, because we recognise the policy nationally is not supporting digital inclusion as much as it should do. Hence, we've brought through our own approach.
Yeah, and the skills part of it, very definitely the skills part of it.
The skills part of it is huge. We have jobs in digital and tech in this city that we simply wouldn't have been able to imagine a decade ago. Jobs in cyber, GCHQ have made a commitment to Greater Manchester around innovation, which has given incredible opportunity to our young people. But currently the education system, in my view, isn't putting them on a path to those opportunities in the way that it should. So we've been rethinking education here, crucially digital skills and literacy as part of education, to give all young people a line of sight to those jobs and a path to those jobs. It's still work in progress, but we think it does set us apart from what's been going on nationally.
Well, it's important to have a strategic vision, and digital and AI intersect with pretty much every of the key sectors that Greater Manchester has: creative, manufacturing, advanced materials, everything.
AI is a strength here. We have the largest headcount in the AI sector by some distance.
By some margin,
However, the mistake people might make is to consider AI as a sector.
Yes.
It is, But as you were saying, it's a foundational technology that will underpin all of the other innovative industries that we've got, life sciences and health, obviously, huge there. But also the green economy, advanced materials and manufacturing, which are all part of our sectoral strengths, creative media. So we see AI as foundational to the modern Greater Manchester economy, and it's really important to stress that.
You've done something very interesting. You've actually positioned Greater Manchester as the UK's AI demonstrator. And in the conversations that we're having with digital leaders and other public sector organisations and leaders, there's a great deal of ambition around AI, but a lot less clarity about what the AI adoption is, particularly around inclusion and responsible adoption of AI. How do you see the city region actually demonstrating what responsible, purpose-driven, outcomes-focused AI looks like?
Well, we've had the deepest devolution deal here for some time. So as a result of that, we've got a very integrated approach to public services and a very networked approach between public sector, private sector, voluntary sector, academia. That's the Greater Manchester magic, if you like, the way we work in very close partnership.
The culture and the ethos, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say, I would honestly, this sounds like a politician's boast, but I would say we are the most networked city in the world. And when I say networked, there's physical, digital networks, transport networks, but I'm talking about the partnership between people and sectors.
Relationship.
It's really close. The incoming Vice-Chancellor of our University of Manchester, Duncan Iverson, said he just couldn't believe the closeness of the partnership when he came here from Sydney. He said it's really different, and we're proud of that. What we're saying to the government is, because of the way we have a different approach to public services, highly integrated, we could be the UK's prevention demonstrator. So we could show how public services can work differently to work in a more preventative way and support residents differently. So they accepted that argument in the 10-year health plan that the government put forward. And as part of that now, we want to bring forward an AI demonstrator. So bring together public data sets from local, regional, national level, and start to use AI to identify people within the city region who need a different approach.
More proactive.
More, yeah, and at a time before it becomes a crisis. How do you use clever use of AI to identify people who need earlier support and consequently much more effective, efficient use of public services that will mean much better outcomes for them. So that's what the AI demonstrator is really focused on, a sort of data unit that will hopefully transform the way public services think and work.
You've talked a lot about the collaboration and the fact that there's just such a network of relationships in our city region. One of the consistent challenges with other public sector leaders is how they actually coordinate AI responsibly across organisational boundaries. You've established an AI and data innovation office to enable that. How do you see the ADIO actually helping that AI adoption and helping Greater Manchester not just digitally transform, but become an AI-powered city where there is collaboration, there is trust, which is a very big currency in the adoption of AI, and also focusing on delivering real outcomes for people and public services rather than perhaps purely a technologist point of view?
So I'm going to answer that, Elizabeth, by saying this is a city region with a strong sense of right and wrong. You know, what is a good thing to do to help people and make broad progress in society, and what shouldn't we, what should we be clear about that's not acceptable? And I think if I look back, I was in government when the social media revolution was really getting going. And I don't think we kind of took that approach at that time. We almost just let it kind of sweep over us. And we lost sense of what was right and wrong, and things that were wrong have kind of crept in way too much into everyday life in terms of images that shouldn't be seen, certainly by children.
Online safety, yeah.
Hate, discrimination. And so I look at the kind of AI revolution, and I think we've got to kind of take that sense of what's right and what's wrong, and what do people think is good and should be encouraged, and what actually we don't want to see, and set those guardrails down and do it at a city region level. Because I think governments are struggling to do this, aren't they, at a national level. I think here I've got a clear sense myself of what people will accept and what they won't. And what we're going to say is that let's go towards this AI revolution with those guardrails in, and try and extract the full benefit of AI in terms of the health benefit it could give people, while then being quite conscious of where the downside risks are and where the trust may be eroded. And use Greater Manchester in some ways as a test bed.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a city region
and we have 10 boroughs as well.
10 boroughs.
So that is
high degree of partnership between those boroughs, and then the different public services, policing, NHS. Huge relationship with the private sector here. We work very closely, community and voluntary sector. It's what I mean by a very networked city region. It's almost, you know, we offer a kind of secure data sort of world, if you like, for outside entities to come in, work with us, and test technologies, but with a view to right and wrong, and where there'll be human benefits, but also human harms, and how we augment the benefits, mitigate the harms. You know, I think AI needs that type of approach, and Greater Manchester is probably better placed than anywhere, I would say, not just in the UK, in the world, you know, because of the nature of the city region that we are. The danger with AI would be, in a very fragmented way, it just, again, like social media, sort of sweeps through and causes, you know, quite a lot of harm in its wake. I think we've got to be on the front foot with AI, not on the back foot as we were with the social media revolution.
Yeah, it's balanced innovation and its ability to contribute to a better society with looking ahead and considering what that impact, whether that could be harmful.
It's about innovation for the public good, for the common good, isn't it? And not, I think, allowing, I don't know, I think we've seen the emergence of business models in social media that are based on public harm. And that, you've got to be honest about that. It's, you know, now we're having a debate about banning social media for under 16s, and, you know, in some ways it's stable door when the horse is long gone, isn't it, to some degree?
Yeah.
And I just don't think we should get ourselves into that position. You know, harness the benefits, which are going to be vast. Yeah. But if you don't deal with it in that way, the negatives will undermine trust in the use of AI for the benefits. And I think we've got to be really clear-eyed about.
Self-defeating.
Well, it could be. You've got to be really clear-eyed about that at this moment in time, and perhaps also in a place like Greater Manchester, sense where the public kind of consent is in place for some of the test cases.
It's that social contract, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with health, I think it's self-evident, I think, to most people that if, you know, AI is to sort of be used in diagnostics, and, you know, to do the sort of nth degree examination as a safety net with regard to sort of the, you know, a human eye examination of diagnostic scans, etc. Clearly, it's going to pick things up, and it's going to save lives, and there's no question about it. So, so then, how do you take that principle further in the healthcare world? I think there would be consent for that, but be upfront with people about what's being done, what data is being used, why is it being used. I do feel we need to go at the AI revolution in that way. And that's what Greater Manchester can offer, and that's why we've put ourselves forward as an AI demonstrator.
Well, we're delighted to be, and we're obviously part of the community here. That is a very nice segue into the trust tests that we need to satisfy. So what do you see as the most meaningful, in a concrete way, use of AI to strengthen those services and community resilience as well, living well but aging better as well, in the way that you've said, you know, in a preventative way, in a way that also empowers people to receive the best possible treatments in a timely fashion? And how can you ensure that those benefits are actually realised across all 10 boroughs? Because that inclusivity picture is a very big part of your vision as well.
So I don't believe that we are in any way using public data to maximum public benefit because of the construct of government. And it's not just the case in the UK, it's probably true in many other countries as well. You know, we have separate departments, transport, work and pensions, health, and they all have data on elements of what's going on in somebody's life, but not the totality of what's going on. The opportunity is if you merge that data and you allow it to be developed that's about the whole person, or indeed the whole place when you're looking at sort of issues that you're dealing with in a particular locality. I just think it will mean different interventions and earlier interventions, and actually gets to the heart perhaps of why somebody's ill and repeatedly going to their GP. Often it won't be the medical problem, is the symptom of something much deeper that's wrong. That's it might be a housing problem, a debt problem, a bereavement issue, or trauma-related issue. I think public services are set up to deal with the symptoms rather than the causes. And I think the time has come to use technology in a careful way to promote a very different way of supporting people in the 21st century with much more effective, whole person oriented public services. So that's the way I see it. Technology is a route to making public services sustainable, but also giving people much better lives. We allow too many people to fall into crisis when actually, if we were to use technology more cleverly, that needn't be the case.
To conclude, if I may, our conversation, because I know your time is at a premium, it's Greater Manchester as a role model. You've been very bold, you've been very progressive in your thinking. Part of the experiences and the insights that you've gathered in both developing your 10-year blueprint and strategy, but also in some of the successes that have actually helped Manchester become the very vibrant and economically inclusive city region that it is. What would be some of the pointers that you would give other public sector leaders to help them achieve the same sort of outcomes?
I think the ingredients of our success, and that success is increasingly evident to people, it starts with devolution. I think when people have more power in their hands at a level that's closer to the street, if you like, closer to people and places and communities, I just think that creates the conditions for innovation and for bottom-up approaches and changes. And we were the pioneers of the model of English devolution that we have. Yep. And I think it starts with that, more agency for people at a local and regional level to change the world that we're in. But then from that, it's not about letting devolution cause fragmentation and one thing going off in this direction. It's like having a really clear ambition for what you're trying to do, and then get all people sort of lining up together, facing in the same direction, and then pulling in the same direction. That is the thing. If you could kind of put your finger on one thing, it's the sense of that whole place approach, which we have built here. When you have a place that all sort of pulls together in the same direction, the power of that is awesome. And that's what Greater Manchester has built way before me. I've kind of tried to continue that tradition, but that's the kind of core of it. And be long term, politics at a national level.
I love that. It's horizons. It's not.
Yeah, we don't. I set some ambitions as mayor in 2017. That point about being the UK's leading digital city region. It's still we've not changed. We've stuck that path and that course. Net zero. We're not a place that is going cold on that idea, even though the politics of it has changed elsewhere in the world. Well, not here. We still believe it's a route to better lives for our residents, more prosperity in the city region, a better world. And so we're on that path, and we won't be deflected from that. What I've tried to do here is in many ways make Greater Manchester everything that the Westminster system isn't. So long term, high ambitions. They never had an ambition for us. We've had to set those ambitions ourselves. And then, with that kind of high ambition, the maximum degree of partnership towards achieving it on a long-term basis, and stick at it and be more place first rather than party first when it comes to your approach. Don't just go straight to the point scoring and the division that results from that.
Sadly, yeah.
Work across divides, pull people together, think about solutions. That's what we try and do. I like to think that it's working, but I also feel that there's still much further to go.
Mayor, it has been an honour to have your insights and to also have followed the journey with you over the last few years.
Thank you for your interest and support for what we've done.
My absolute pleasure, and also for your generosity in sharing your insights, your learnings and the successes, and for your openness to not just within the 10 boroughs, but actually I know that you have hosted visits from other authorities and actually from Scotland as well.
And we learn from them, and I don't want this to sound, Elizabeth, as though we feel we've got all the answers, and we haven't. We welcome partnerships with other places. We've just signed an agreement with the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority,
Excellent.
linking Cambridge University, Manchester University, because we know there's amazing work going on in other places as well. But we also think we can be a sort of a place where the great research that's being done elsewhere can actually be translated in a system like Greater Manchester more easily. So yeah, we've got so much further to go. You know, we're not fully where we want to be. But the exciting thing is we're beginning to see the reindustrialization of the birthplace of the original industrial revolution. And honestly, I can't tell you how brilliant that feels.
That's how homegrown becomes world class.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
You're welcome.
It's been a privilege.
Absolutely.
Thank you.